Hello, this is Scotty Sykes. We're going to talk about what pharmacies need to know about the new COVID stimulus bill here. We're going to do it in 5 minutes. So we're going to run through this, what you need to know. Today is December 29th, 2020. First and foremost, disclaimer, make sure you understand your limitations. Talk with your professionals, your advisors on this before doing anything. This is educational purposes only. First and foremost, the PPP, tax-free forgiveness of the loan proceeds. So you're not paying tax on that. The expenses are deductible. So this is a great benefit for pharmacies, considerably so. Furthermore, you're not paying tax on the forgiven loan proceeds. You're getting those deductions, but you're also going to get basis for the non-taxable income. Basis increases what you have in your S corporation or partnership. So that's a big plus. Talk to your CPA's advisors about that, but there's some planning you can do around that basis as well. This applies to everybody who's already had forgiveness as well. If you've already gotten your forgiveness, tax-free across the way here. They've expanded the uses of the PPP proceeds. Most pharmacies won't need to worry about that. PPP forgiveness has been eased up as well. The loan's less than $150,000, pretty much a rubber stamp. You're not going to have to go through any hoops and hurdles there. So they've made that very easy. We'll have to see how this unfolds. The SBA has 24 days from December 27th to issue that new forgiveness application. But for those pharmacies that have waited, patiently waited through this whole PPP mess, this is going to pay off dividends. Essentially, you're just going to sign a piece of paper and hopefully get that rubber stamp. There is a PPP 2.0. I call it 2.0. It's a second draw loan. It's a max amount of loan of $2 million. You don't have to have gotten the first PPP to get it, so you can be eligible even if you did not get the first PPP. But you have to have fewer than 300 employees. You have to have that 25% drop in gross receipts. I'm going to get into that a little more here in a second. But you had to have been in operation prior to 2/15/2020, which is essentially when the pandemic started. Now, the 25% drop in gross receipts in the first, second, third quarter in 2020 as compared to the same quarter in 2019 is a requirement. Now, with this being said, I'm not going to see a lot of pharmacies that are going to be eligible here. Now, they may make it a little easier for pharmacies out there that are looking for loans less than $150,000. We'll have to see what the SBA does, maybe what they can draw out here, but $150,000 or less, essentially there might be just an application you have to sign and certify, but we may just have to see how this all unfolds. But right now, if you don't have a 25% drop in revenue or gross receipts rather, as compared to the same quarter in 2019, not eligible here. Again, I don't see a lot of pharmacies that are going to be pulling this PPP 2.0. EIDL, $10,000 grant that many received, or up to $10,000. That's non-taxable, and the expenses you're using that money for are deductible. Another big plus there. The EIDL loan, on the other hand, the loan itself has been extended until you can apply for that until the end of 2021 now. SBA Debt Relief, those payments that many pharmacies had paid on their behalf by the SBA are non-taxable. So that's great news. I know a lot of pharmacies had 6 months of debt paid by the SBA on those 7A loans, non-taxable. Furthermore, it's in the law that they're going to expand this program beginning February 2021 for another 3 months. We'll just have to see what guidance they come out with there, whether they're going to cap it at an X amount of dollars or how that's going to unfold. But there should be some more relief for 3 months coming down the road here in 2021 for some of you out there with these 7A loans. HHS Provider Relief, they've added another $3 billion. The HHS has still got full control over this and how they implement the programs. Right now, pharmacies just still aren't eligible here as far as I've seen for the most part, because prescription revenue does not count as patient care revenue. And if you don't have patient care revenue, you're not eligible. So, a lot of pharmacies got this money. You need to make sure if you got the money that you're abiding by the terms and conditions, or you may have to pay that money back. That money is taxable. That has not changed that I have seen in the bill. That money is still going to be taxable. You may need to pay that back, however, but we'll have to see how HHS unfolds this or unravels this program going forward for pharmacies, if at all. So more to come here, I'm sure. I think they're going to do something for pharmacies. We'll just have to see what that is. Stimulus payments, $600 for single, $1,200 joint, plus $600 for children under age 17. They've expanded this to, well, a lot of pharmacies, pretty much, a lot of folks out here won't be seeing anything here, but there is talk that the House just passed 2,000 single and 4,000 married to replace the 600. We'll just have to see how this unfolds. Meals is now 100% deductible for in 2021 and 2022. This is up from the 50% deduction. So do know you get those meals 100% deduction. You have to meet all those qualifying rules. Who was present, what was the business purpose, when and where, keep a receipt. Credit cards don't count. Credit card receipts or credit card statements don't count for really any supporting documentation. You need those receipts. And the more documentation, the better, because the IRS will be nailing on this one once they get into, if they get into your pharmacy and start digging. But be aware here, entertainment still a 0% deduction. No deduction for entertainment. Employee retention tax credit is another biggie here, but a lot of pharmacies are not going to be eligible here either. You have to have either a 50% reduction in your revenue in 2020, or in 2021, a 20% reduction. So keep an eye out on this, though. But I'm not going to see a lot of pharmacies getting this either, because of the stable environment pharmacies have been operating in for the most part, given this is a health pandemic and you guys are on the front lines. So a lot of pharmacies won't be getting a business benefit there. This is just a checklist you can use to see what you can may be eligible for funding. If you answer no to all these, you're likely not going to be in line for the employee retention credit or the PPP 2.0, but we'll have to see. These things can change. SBA can pretty much issue guidance throughout all this process. And as you've seen through the CARES Act, it's a long process. When you've got these massive bills and all these massive changes, there's going to be a lot to unfold. Patience is your best friend through all of this. So just be patient as all of this unfolds, and perhaps some doors will open down the road. Nothing I'm going to really mention here in particular, but we'll just see a case study here. So RX Pharmacy, you can see he got the PPP loan, EIDL advance, SBA Debt Relief. So before this bill, you had $290,000 of taxable income at a 32% tax rate. That was a $92,000 tax bill. But after the passage of this bill, which President Trump has now signed, you can see where the PPP loan, the EIDL advance, which, by the way, does not reduce your PPP loan forgiveness amount, which previously it did. I failed to mention that on that EIDL slide, but that does not reduce that PPP forgiveness loan amount. But you can see here that total taxable income is only $100,000 here after the passage of this bill, so a $60,000 tax savings. One major consideration we have to think about is how the states are going to implement these changes. A lot of states will not follow through with the non-taxable structure that's been signed into law here with this bill. So there's going to be some state changes that you'll have to be cognizant of, and that could take some time as these states unfold and as these states legislatures meet and et cetera down the road. So 2020 will be busy on that regard. Pay attention to your state. And again, patience is going to be your best friend with the PPP and all these programs to see how they unfold, and just be patient throughout this whole process. Those that were patient with the PPP forgiveness, as we have been advising this whole time, you may have just sign a piece of paper for your loan forgiveness rather than go through hours of complex calculations. So that is a huge benefit. Any questions, feel free to reach out to us anytime. We're always here to help. Ask Sykes at sykes-cpa.com, and appreciate the opportunity to be here with you today. Thanks.